alive. Yo, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be working on my 240SX. This is a KA24T, so it's turboed. I'm having like a really bad exhaust leak coming out of the turbo manifold and the downpipe, so we will be addressing that today. And I'll be showing you guys what I did to fix it, and you'll be able to see what actually was the cause of it. So alright, so I've already went ahead and started removing some of this stuff. So filter for the air intake, and I already have the manifold removed, and I have this pipe removed. Just gonna move it out of the way a little bit, and now I believe I'm actually gonna remove the coupling for the turbo, little turbo right here. I'm not exactly what kit this is. I believe it's an ISR, but I do know that this turbo is a GT28 Garrett. It should say when we pull it, there's a G right there, so I'm assuming, actually I'm not gonna assume. Let me pull it out and then I can tell you what kind of turbo this is. But yeah, so I've already pretty much almost got it out. I just got to remove this coupling right here and then move some of this plumbing out of the way, so that way I can just pull it out. Hopefully it's not too bad. All right, so now I'll be removing my oil feed line, which is, it's tough because my hand's in the way, but you see that's the oil filter, and right next to that is the little silver line. I'll be removing that, so that way I can pull out the turbo. And then I'll also be coming over here to the turbo, and I'll be removing, so right here we have the I believe it's like the oil drain for the turbo, this big hose right here, and then I have a ton of plumbing for the coolant, which I will be removing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all of that, and then once that's all removed, I'll pull out the turbo. All right, so I removed the oil drain hose, and I'm gonna remove the turbo from the downpipe. So it's 3 bolts right here. I'm gonna remove it. This one looks a little crusty, so hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna remove it right from right here, and then I already have the manifold removed up there, and I'm gonna try to pull it out from the top. So just gonna remove these 3 bolts, and then I'll pull out the turbo. So I've now removed my steering column, so this should be a lot easier. So I removed the 2 bolts that were holding this whole manifold and turbo together at this point in the system. So it was just being held by 2 bolts on the left. There was no hardware here on the right. So I had a big gap on the right side of the manifold, and I only see like half a gasket in there. I don't know if that was on purpose, but we're about to remove this and find out. And yeah, this is an ISR turbo kit. So yeah, this is a Garrett GT28. So I might need to get a new gasket. I actually think I will need to get a new gasket, but let's remove this. I think it should be, there it comes. Oh, there we go, look at that. It's only half a gasket in there. Frick. This is the cause of my really bad exhaust leak. Yeah, and don't mind this. They did it on purpose because the steering column will be in the way if this was indented in. There's no cracks or anything there, but we will be keeping an eye on it. But yeah, this is unfortunate. So good news, I did a little bit of calling around, and it seems like auto parts stores do carry them and can order that manifold gasket. So I'm going to be heading on over to a store that's about 40 minutes away to pick that up. I'm going to be replacing this hose, which I already have the hose for that. This thing was cracking and it's super brittle, and it just literally broke right there. And then I'm going to be replacing this hose, which I will be upgrading this hose later because this is for my oil drain. This is just some heater hose, and heater hose will not withstand it. I'm just doing that so that when I move, I can move the car to my new location, which is not far from here. So I'll be replacing that, and I'll be getting new nuts, and I think I'm gonna get some new studs. Yeah, I'm gonna get some new studs for this exhaust manifold, and probably gonna get a new gasket for this downpipe. All right, so I got the new gasket. Here it is. It's about the same. Actually, this one's a little bit thicker. I don't know if this one got smaller from it being pressed on it, but I actually got this on Amazon. This is made in China, but to be fair, AutoZone had a gasket and it was also made in China, so this was gonna come sooner. I will later refresh the gaskets with some gaskets from Injuku Racing, but this will do for now. So looking at the exhaust manifold, it had these two little divots. This one doesn't, but it's the same size. But if you can't really tell by the camera, but you see how it has this little indentation going up, and on the bottom it's going in. So from what I can see, the indentation is right here, and this was facing like this. So then that means that the indentation needs to go like this, and goes on, and it fits perfect. All right, so there that is. It doesn't fill all the gaps, but I'm assuming that when I press it on and bolt it down, that should not create a gasket leak. When I start the car, we will see. Who knows? But I'm going to now mate this back up to my turbo so that we can install it back. All right, so I went to Ace Hardware and I got some new studs. Now these are automotive grade. They are actually the same exact length and I believe grade. So I'll be installing these new ones. You can tell this is the newer one. It is a little bit rusty, and then this is the old one. It's a bit bent. So I'll be removing and installing new studs on my turbo manifold, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So you're going to want to start with getting two nuts that fit the stud. I've already went ahead and put them on. You're gonna want to put one on right and one like flipped. So you would need 2 wrenches. You want to tighten them down. So now, you can see my stud's already free spinning. So now you just get your wrench and then you start to twist it off, and it's coming. Oh, the nuts are coming. So let's just get them tightened back up. And there it comes. So yes, you might want to like tighten them a little more than I just did, and then it will come off. So to install, it's the same thing. I'll just thread this in until I can't thread it anymore, and I'll be adding Loctite to mine. I'm just showing this as a demonstration. I don't know if because I don't think the previous owner would have installed these with just 2 nuts. Like that just sounds wild to me. Like a lot of the stuff that was done to this car, like I have 2 manila folders full of just documentation of everything that was bought, maintenance history and everything, and I just find it very hard to believe that the previous owner would only leave 2 nuts on it. I'm guessing that they just vibrated out with just all the pressure in the exhaust manifold, and just over time of it just flowing out. So I'm gonna be adding some Loctite to these. But anywho, so you get your 2 nuts on there. So you get the bottom one snug, and then you got to get the top one snug, and it is snug. So now when I turn the nut, you'll see that the stud is going in deeper, and I'm just gonna do that until it doesn't go in anymore. Okay, there it is. I actually got new hardware. I'm pretty sure these are 12s. Nope, they're 13s. Try to put this on evenly as best as I can. I'm just gonna run them all in, hand tight, and then just kind of go around. it is mounted back on. Let's see if this is, let's see if putting it back in is gonna be as hard as it was taking it back out. Definitely gotta feed this over the transmission. And then let's see. All right, so it is back in. Yes, it was just as hard to put it back in as it was to take out. I kept hitting up against these brake booster brake lines, and what I ended up doing, so you guys can't see maybe, but the steering column was in the way, so I zip tied it up and over, because whenever I would clear the clutch or the brake lines for the brake booster, I would then come into contact with the steering column. So I zipped it up to the side, and that was the trick. So now I know for next time. So now I'm just going to just hand thread all these nuts onto the manifold, and surprisingly it's very easy access for all of these. Alright, so we're gonna get this intake pipe in. The visibility for you guys must be not the greatest. Alright, the intake that goes to the turbo is on. Now time to get this guy on. Probably wanna, let's try this first. Very nice. That one was easy. Let's make sure. All right, let's tighten that down. I need to get a heat shield that goes in front of this brake booster. I don't like just the lines being this plastic, and all that needs to be covered. I need to replace that line too for the brake booster. I don't want any leaks. And then the air filter. It's a tough one to get on, but there it is. All right, time to install the oil drain line, and then the steering column, add oil, and see if we got rid of the exhaust leaks. All right, so my oil drain for the turbo is installed, my steering column's installed. I just gotta install my downpipe. I swapped the oil filter, the oil feed. Everything is buttoned up on the bottom minus this downpipe, which I have a new gasket for, so I'm gonna put that on, and then I think we'll just add oil and do a startup, see if we have an exhaust leak. All right, downpipe is now installed. Time to check the oil. And yep, no oil because I drained it. I just wanted to see where it was at because the car was on jacks, only on the front end, so I know that there's still a little bit of oil trapped in there. So you're supposed to put 4 quarts in here. It doesn't have a bigger oil pan, but it does have a turbo. So we're just gonna add 3 quarts and just keep checking. My choice of oil for all my vehicles is high mileage 530 full synthetic Valvoline. This is what I like to use. I know some people, everybody has their preference for their own reasons. All right, definitely got enough oil to start the car. I don't want to overfill it. Oh, definitely need to put that back on. So we're gonna start the car, and all we're looking for right now is that there's no exhaust leak in the engine bay, because I had an exhaust leak coming from the turbo manifold, and we're just checking to see there's no leaks and that I connected everything back right properly. Got this S15 steering wheel from Japan when I was out there. Got it for $280. I did forget to install one thing. The O2 sensor. Oh, this is hot now. I am so close to burning myself. There we go. O2 sensor's plugged back in. All right, start it again. But I think, I didn't feel any exhaust leaks coming out of there. I don't know what that is smoking. Could it be the new exhaust manifold gasket? I don't think it smoked that much. Oh, I know what's smoking. That's what was smoking. No, it was something else as well. All right, so I've actually figured out what the smoke was. So my down pipe right here, at the bottom to the pipe where the cat would be, so it's pretty much straight pipe minus the cat back. It has a couple of, it has a muffler, so it doesn't sound horrible. So the issue is that this is the nut that they had. Now the flange is way too big. The flange was too big compared to the other two, which can be bad. When using hardware for your exhaust, you never want your flange or your washer to be resting on top of the weld, which is what this one was doing, which is why I had an exhaust leak. I then went to AutoZone, I bought a set of these, but the issue with this is that it still shows a little bit, like it doesn't cover the hole for where the stud goes through, which I will show you guys that in a second. So then I went to Ace Hardware, and this is the same exact nut that the other two are, so you can barely tell, but this is actually, the flange is a lot smaller than the one that they had on, so you can see it has a little bit more clearance. I'm going to show you guys, I did install this and there is no exhaust leak with this. So I'm gonna put this one on and hope that there's no exhaust leak with this one, because I would rather have that hole covered, and I'm gonna show you guys that. And so let's go ahead and put this guy back on, and let me show you what this one looks like on there. So if you guys can see, this is the nut that I got from AutoZone. To the right, there's a little bit of the hole exposed, and this is the original nut. So you see it's a flange nut. And if you can see the weld around the exhaust, the old nut that I had was resting on top of that, which is what made it so that it didn't seat properly, and it didn't go down as far as it needed to get rid of the exhaust leak. So I'm going to be removing this nut and putting the one that I just bought, and then hoping there's no exhaust leak. Doesn't sound like there's an exhaust leak. Holding up very well. There's no leak here where I originally had it. Gonna check down low. No more exhaust leak, no more smoking. Success. And that's pretty much gonna wrap it up, honestly. That's really all I wanted to address, was that exhaust leak. And I just wanted to see, you know, I've been wanting to pull out the turbo and look it over a little bit since I got the car. I never got around to doing it, but I'm glad I finally did. I am gonna replace the gasket that I got for the turbo manifold. I don't, you know, it's not leaking. It was cheap, but that's all that I can ask for. And then, so I'm just really happy there's no exhaust leak. That thing sounded horrendous. I don't think you guys needed to hear a sound clip on that. But, you know, that's like the dangers of buying somebody else's project. So when I bought this car, I knew I was buying somebody else's project. But at the end of the day, like, there was so much more good about this car than there was bad. So at the end of the day, like, if the motor blew, like, I wasn't really too worried about it. I haven't driven it enough, really, because of the exhaust leak. But now I'm gonna be driving it, so, you know, if it does go or whatever, you guys will obviously see that. So if you're buying somebody else's project, just make sure that you're mechanically inclined, or, you know, you have the will to, you know, fix it, or be aware of, you know, it just failing on you. But other than that, like, it's you know, it's a solid car. I can't ask for anything more. I'm excited to be able to start driving this more often now. I am going to address the valve time tick, which will be my next video that you guys will see. So that's pretty much gonna wrap this one up. If you guys like this content or like this video, please share, like, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And if you guys made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.